Hello, guys and gals, and this is part 31 of our reading of Leaves of Gold. We're going to go over what Leaves of Gold actually is. Leaves of Gold is an anthology of prayers, memorable phrases, inspirational verse, and prose from the best authors of the world, both ancient and modern. Edited by Clyde Francis Lytle. As always, we're going to go over the copyright information, which is revised edition, 12th printing, 1964, copyright 1938 by Evan S. Coslett, revised 1948 by Donald G. Remley, and copyright 1948 by A.C. and D.G. Remley. And it was published by the Coslett Publishing Company out of Williamsport, Pennsylvania, and is printed in the United States of America. Now we are going to read chapter 30 on trifles, which is another name for adversity, for problems, and all that stuff. Anyways, change my position here. Elbow's going to sleep. Okay, now, here we go. Chapter 30, Trifles. Fragments. Macaulay tells the story of a man who had the contract for putting in the stained windows for a great cathedral. He was much annoyed by the persistent request of his apprentice for the privilege of designing and arranging the glass for just one window. He did not wish to discourage the young man's ambition, nor did he wish an experiment to be made with costly materials. So he said to him, "If you will harness your own material, and you may try your hand on that window," pointing to one not very prominent. But what was his surprise to find him gathering up the little bits of glass that he himself had cut off and thrown away. He set to work with these and succeeded in working out a design of rare beauty. When the doors were thrown open and the people came to view the work, they stood in great groups before the window, admiring its charming excellence, until the master artist became exceedingly jealous of the rising reputation of the apprentice. So we may gather up the little bits of time and influence and money and opportunity which we generally throw away, and weave them into a life so pure and beautiful that the angels will stand before it in admiration and praise. That is by Moffat. Now we have the key. Study the big problems all the time, but never to skip a small task, for one of the simple duties may hold the key to the biggest problem. That is by John T. Ferris. Impotency. Those who bestow too much application on trifling things become generally incapable of great ones. That is by La Rochefoucauld. Next we have little sins. It is Satan's custom by little sins to draw us to greater, as the little sticks set up the great ones on fire, and a wisp of straw enkindles a block of wood. That is by T. Manton. Now we have a spark is the beginning of a flame, and a small disease may bring a greater. That is by Baxter. Small twigs may prove thorny bushes of not timely... small twigs may prove thorny bushes if not timely stubbed up. That is by Swinnock. And what great difference is there whether your external burning by kindling by many sparks or by one firebrand? Whether you die by small wounds or by one great one, many little items make a debt desperate and the payment impossible. That's by Hopkins. Next we have waste. Do not waste $5 time on a 5-cent job. That is by John T. Ferris. Now we have something here called little things. Little words are the sweetest to hear. Little charities fly farthest and stay longest on the wing. Little lakes are the stillest, little hearts are the fullest, and little farms are the best tilled. Little books are read the most, and little songs the dearest loved. And when nature would make anything especially rare and beautiful, she makes it little. Little pearls, little diamonds, little dews, agars, agars is a model prayer. But then it is a little one. And the burden of the petition is for but little. The Sermon on the Mount is little, but the last dedication discourse was an hour long. Life is made up for littles. Death is what remains of them all. Day is made up of little beams, and night is glorious with little stars. That's very true. Next we have little things. Something else called little things. Okay. A cup of cold water, a little thing. But life is made up of little things. And who would rise to higher usefulness is wise if he cherishes the loving yet seeming trifles of daily living. That's by Floyd W. Tompkins. Now we have beginnings. Little sins, so called, are the beginning of great ones. The explosion is in the spark. The upas in its seed, the fiery serpent in its smooth egg, the fierce tiger in the playful cub. By a little wound, death may be caused as surely as by a great one. Through one small vein, the heart's blood may flow not less fatally than through the major artery. A few drops oozing through an embankment may make a passage for the whole lake of water. A green log is safe in the company of a candle, but if a few shavings are just lighted and then some dry sticks, the green log will not long resist the flames. How often has a character which seemed steadfast been destroyed by little sins? Satan seldom assails in the first instance with great temptations. Skillful general, he makes his approach gradually, and by zigzag trenches creeping towards the fortress. He intends at length to storm. Therefore, watch against little sins. That is by Newman Hall. Next we have a measuring rod. The best portion of a good man's life, his little nameless, unremembered acts of kindness and love. That's by William Wordsworth. Next we have the obligation. The million little things that drop into our hands, the small opportunities each day brings, he leaves us free to use or abuse and goes unchanging along his silent way. That's by Helen Keller. Next we have God sees. Perhaps at the last day, all that will remain worth recording of a life full of activity and zeal will be those little deeds that were done solely beneath the eye of God. That is by Gold Dust. Now we have many facets. If falsehood had, like the truth, but one face only, we should be upon best terms, for we should then take the contrary to what the liar says for certain truth. But the reverse of truth hath 100 figures, and is a field indefinite without bound or limit. That's by Montag. Now we have the hours. The bell strikes 1. We take no note of time, but for its loss. To give it then a tongue is wise in man. As if an angel spoke, I feel the solemn sound. If heard aright, it is the knell of my departed hours. Where are they? With the years beyond the flood, it is the signal that demands dispatch. How much is to be done? And that's by Young. Next we have much may be done. In those little shreds and patches of time which every day produces and which most men throw away, but which nevertheless will make at the end of it no small deduction from the life of man. That's by Colton. Next we have trifles. Sometimes when I consider what tremendous consequences come from little things, a chance word, a tap on the shoulder, or a penny dropped on a newsstand, I am tempted to think there are no little things. That is by Bruce Barton. Now we have obstinacy and contradiction are like a paper kite. They are only kept up so long as you pull against them. Next, we have kindness and love. If you will study the history of Christ's ministry from baptism to ascension, you will discover that it is mostly made up of little words, little deeds, little prayers, little sympathies, adding themselves together in unwearied succession. The gospel is full of divine attempts to help and heal in body, mind, and heart individual men. The completed beauty of Christ's life is only the added beauty of little inconspicuous acts of beauty. Talking with the woman at the well, going far up into the north country to talk with the Syrophoenician woman, showing the young ruler the stealthy ambition laid away in his heart had kept him out of the kingdom of heaven, shedding a tear at the grave of Lazarus, teaching a little knot of followers how to pray, preaching the gospel one Sunday afternoon to two disciples going out to Emmaus, kindling the fire and boiling fish that his disciples might have a breakfast waiting for them when they came ashore from a night of fishing, cold, tired, and discouraged. All of these things, let us in so easily into the real quality and tone of God's interests. So specific, so narrowed down, so enlisted in what is small, so engrossed with what is minute. That is by Parkhurst. Next we have be cautious. Springs are little things, but they are sources of large streams. A helm is a little thing, but we know its use and power. Nails and pegs are little things, but they hold the parts of a large building together. A word, a look, a smile, a frown are all little things, but powerful for good or evil. Think of this and mind the little things. That's by Hillis. Discretion. We may outrun by violent swiftness that which we run out, and lose by overrunning. That is by Shakespeare. Next we have little but mighty. Size is not always an indication of importance. We all stop to look at a big man walking in a crowd, but he is not always superior to his less noticeable companions. The giant Goliath was no doubt a splendid figure on the field of battle, but he was no match for the ruddy stripling David. There are small things which wield a mighty influence. A rudder is a small thing compared to the ship which it steers, but who wants to be on a rudderless ship? Your home may be very small and humble, but would you exchange it and all that it means for a residence in the biggest hotel in the world? A man may be a very small creature, but would you rather be an elephant or the man who controls them? Words are little things, but what tremendous power for good or evil they may exert. Now we have dream peddlery. If there were dreams to sell, what would you buy? Some cost a passing bell, some a light sigh that shakes from life's fresh crown. Only a rose leaf down. If there were dreams to sell, merry and sad to tell, and the crier rang the bell, what would you buy? A cottage lone and still, with bowers nigh, shadowy my woes to still until I die. Such pearl from life's fresh crown, fain would I shake me down. Were dreams to have at will, this would best heal my ill. This would I buy. That is by Thomas Lovell Beddoes. And we have anger. Make sure that I'm on the right track here. Yeah. Anger. When some of those cutting, sharp, blighting words have been spoken which send the hot, indignant blood to the face and head, if those to whom they are addressed keep silent, look on with awe, for a mighty work is going on within them, and the spirit of evil, or their guardian angel, is very near to them in that hour. During that pause, they have made a step towards heaven, or towards hell, and an item has been scored in the books which the day of judgment shall see opened. That is by Emerson. Now we have prime mover. Whoever shall review his life will find that the whole tenor of his conduct has been determined by some accident of no apparent moment. That is by Johnson. True greatness. Johnson well says, he who waits to do a great deal of good at once will never do anything. Life is made up of little things. It is very rarely that on occasion it is offered for doing a great deal at once. True greatness consists of being great in little things. That is by C. Simmons. Now we have giveaways. Trifles discover a character more than actions of importance. In regards to the former, a person is off his guard and thinks it not material to use disguise. It is no imperfect hint towards the discovery of a man's character to say he looks as though you might be certain of finding a pin upon his sleeve. That is by Shenstone. A stray hair, by its continued irritation, may give more annoyance than a sharp blow. That is by Lowe. And we have men are led by trifles. That is by Napoleon. Now we have contrast. There is a care for trifles which proceeds from love of conscience and is most holy, and a care for trifles which comes of idleness and frivolity and is most base. That is by Ruskin. Now we have buzz. The mind of the greatest man on earth is not so independent of circumstances as not to feel inconvenienced by the mere buzzing noise about him. It does not need the noise of a cannon to disturb his thoughts. The creaking of a vane or pulley is quite enough. Do not wonder that he reasons ill just now. A fly is buzzing in his ear. It is quite enough to unfit him for giving good counsel. That is by Pascal. Now we have a little and a little collected together become a great deal. The heap in the barn consists of single grains, and drop make the inundation. That is by Satie. Now we have lost. It is in those acts which we call trivialities that the seeds of joy are forever wasted. That is by George Eliot. In everything there is a kind of latent omniscience, not only in every man but in every particle. That is by Emerson. Great merit or great failings will make you respected or despised, but trifles, little attentions, mere nothings, either done or neglected, will make you either liked or disliked in the general run of the world. That's by Chesterfield. And now, lastly, we have the sum. Trifles make perfection, but perfection itself is no trifle. That is by Michelangelo. And we are ready for chapter 31 when we pick this up again. And that is a chapter on work. Now, we have been reading from Leaves of Gold, a book edited by Clyde Francis Lytle, and specifically a chapter on trifles. Actually, chapter 30. Chapter 30 on trifles. If you like this content, make sure you like and subscribe and ring the bell so you know when I upload. Also, if you want to support me in any way, if you want to join the Discord server, all that information will be in the description below. And as always, thanks for watching, everyone. You are loved, and have a great day.